Good morning. This is going to be a two-part video to walk you through the final assessment for trimester two's wrap up of psychology human development. The first thing I want to say is hello, breathe, and we're going to get through this together. I know this is a very strange way for all of us to wrap up the trimester, and in the coming weeks, we'll get through all of this and this new pioneering event of how to do remote learning. My first critique to you is please watch these videos all the way through. Watch them in chunks if it helps with your focus, and reach out for any communication via email, or you and I can set up a Google Meet for video selection. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the first part of the assessment, which is the application of emotional theories of the four scenarios. So this is going to be a two-part assessment, and we are going to omit the multiple choice and the description of the GAS aspect of stress from the original assessment that you were going to be given. And this is simply a way to make sure we're wrapping up all the stuff that we focused on the last 2 weeks to get a summative in to show your understanding of material. Note that all parts of the summative are due by Friday the 27th. They must be turned in directly through Classroom. Please type directly in this document. If you create any extra documents, that's fine. Just attach them into Classroom, but make sure that it's all in Classroom because I have no way of physically collecting any papers from you. The other thing I'm going to say is remember integrity, is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Part of the structure of online learning is the temptation to seek out others and copy work. If there's any question of plagiarism at all, both you and the person you reach out to will get a 0. I'm not there with you as you complete this assessment, and I'm going to trust the fact that this is your own work. Please know that if you run into any obstacles, if you get confused, just take the step and send me an email. You and I can set it up so that you feel confident with the assessment you create. Please do not share or work together on this task with anybody else from class. So, there's two parts to this. The first part I'm going to talk about is what is the four emotional theories. Last week, we practiced with a scenario about Gerald, how to apply the four emotional theories to one specific scenario. Your job is you're either going to write an explanation or one or the other, develop a graphic in the document to apply each of the scenarios to this, each of the theories, to the scenarios. So if we go to the second page, that's literally where you're going to start to complete your work. I've taken the ideas of each of the four scenarios from what was presented to the class. If you missed any of the notes, they're actually in Classroom. You can open up the notes and retake them for each of the four theories. It's actually in the feed under the second, it'll be on the stream called Theories of Emotion, and it'll be the second one down in the stream. All right. So, what you're going to do is you'll read the scenario. Now, I want to remind you this is an event. You need to logically come up with first what is the emotion you think that this person is going to feel based on the scenario that's presented. When you start there, you then can work backwards to apply each of the theories. A couple reminders based on what I saw from the formatives last week. First, physiological, if that is used, it is a response that you have no control over, your body's reaction to whatever's happening. So physiological can be hand sweating, heart rate goes up, sweating. Your pulse begins to go. You begin to visibly shake. Some of you said like you would run away, you would scream. That is not a physiological response. A physiological response is a body's response that is not controlled by you. You have no conscious control over it. So be careful on that. Cognitive. In the Schachter Singer, they mention cognitive appraisal. That's where you state something like, I am this, I am happy, I am excited. And then you go to the emotion. And for the Lazarus theory, remember, appraisal is the idea that based on the person's past, they will appraise the situation based on that. Be careful because there's no indication of this person's history. So your appraisal is actually going to be a fictional appraisal based on the logical assumption of this situation, meaning you make it up, but be logical with it and not come up with something that's ridiculous. So there are four of them. Once again, you can type directly in this document. If you create a graphic underneath by inserting shapes and arrows and such, that's totally fine. Just make sure it follows the thread of what the theory is proposing. There are four of them, so just be mindful of that as you do this. All right, good luck. Like I said, this is part one of 2 videos for the first part of the summative. Let me know if you have any questions, and then watch part